Oh, Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. You won an Emmy before, man. That's pretty cool. Is it like on a shelf and like you stare at it or what?
You sleep with it
Yeah.
at
What do
night?
you do with the Emmy after you get it?
Well, when I was single, I used to leave it right on my nightstand. So that was like a clincher if I brought a girl home.
Solid.
You know what I mean? Like you see an Emmy. No, I have it on a shelf too, but people don't even believe it. Like that's real. That's plastic. They pick it up because it's pretty heavy, actually. But no, yeah, I was working on Inside the NFL on HBO back in like 2004, and I won for like best comedy segment. I won a sports Emmy for.
You did Crank Acres too. What came first, the voices or the puppets?
The voices. We made the calls. We did the prank calls, and then once it was a good call, then they recreated the calls with puppets. I didn't work that side of it. I just did the prank calls. I don't know how to work a puppet because all those puppeteers had to learn all the lines, the inflections, and everything. So they had hard work. I was just a jerk on making a prank call like I did when I was a child.
So you had practice. That's what I wondered. Did you have practice beforehand, basically?
Oh yeah, when I was I was always in trouble when I was younger, so I was always grounded. So I'd just stay in and just make prank calls. Just I didn't know it was going to lead to anything.
Should we expect like a prank call? Like, do you still do it like for fun, just to stay sharp, like at all?
Yeah, I still do. Well, I mostly my stuff is telemarketers. When telemarketers call, incoming calls, I mess with them. I got 8 albums out of calls. I still do it to this day.
You've done a lot of live stuff too. What's been like your favorite? Would you say, like looking back on it all?
Well, the live stand up I love doing because it's just me up there, my own boss, just doing what I want. Basically saying what I want, dressing the way I want, and I love that freedom of doing that. And just you never know what happens in a live show. It could go either way. It could go any way. That's why you can't mail it in every time. Every show is different.
It's probably been different too, like each venue you're at, right? Because like I've never been to like Chicago. Are they funny up there in Chicago? Because it's got to be like the jokes might hit differently in each market. What's that been like?
I think it's pretty much the same. Some of maybe the cities that are maybe more liberal or conservative, you might have the jokes might hit different. But other than that, I think, with cable TV and everyone watching everything, I just went over to England. I never performed in England my whole career. And I was like, man, they're not going to get what I'm saying, all the stuff. And they go, we see all American TV. We know your accents and all your humor and stuff like that. And it went over great. So that doesn't usually happen too often.
You still do the podcast?
Yeah. I do a podcast. Everybody is Awful. Comes out every Monday. It's just me. I have fans that listen to the podcast that know stuff that I'll hate on social media, so they'll send it to me just so for material, basically.
What's it like writing these days with AI and stuff like that? It's gotta be a wild time in like that writer space and producing space and all that. What are you seeing on the inside there?
I don't know. I just write my own material, like stuff that comes to me, as far as for stand-up, so I don't use AI for that stuff. I've tried before, like I'll say, give me some roast jokes for, Charlie Sheen. And then I'll read it. I'm like, these are kind of lame. These are some like my 15-year-old kid could write. They're very generic.
The show's upcoming this Friday at Cain. You been through Corntown before? You ever been here?
No, I haven't been. No, I haven't. And I'm bringing Don Jameson with me, he won an Emmy with me too on the Inside the NFL. He was my co-host on that metal show that we did a few years back.
For sure. Definitely make sure you go by Saeed's while you're here, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Stop off and see the locals and say hey to everybody.
That's
if you
right.
Catch a chance.
What's that?
Saeed's?
It's a former gas station that's now a nightclub. And I
think it's an Indian Mart, too, on the front side.
I think so, yeah. And so, it's just where all the cool kids go out and hang out after 11 p.m.
All right. Yeah, well, I'm a little old. I don't know. I don't usually stay out after 11.
If you're a fan of karaoke, though, that's the place to be.
Okay, yeah, that's always fun to watch drunk people, make jerks of themselves. I always like that.
What can people expect from the set this time, Jim? What's going on? What's the tour about? And can the kids come with?
Yeah, it's rated R, so I don't know. You don't want to bring the kids. But no, I just talk about, like, I'm a single dad, divorced, raising a 15-year-old son who's in high school. Talk a lot about that and some current events and stuff like that. I stay away from politics. I don't feel like dividing the room. I don't care about that stuff, so I leave that to other comics. So it'll be a good time, a little edgy, but fun.
What's it like working with other comedians, right? You mentioned Jameson, you're working with him, and he's kind of touring with you on this one. What's that like collaborating with other comedians?
we don't usually collaborate. Sometimes, like, I'll sit in the back of the room and I'll watch his show, and I said, "Hey, man, how about you try it this way? Say this line this way, or whatever." But we pretty much do our own routines, you know. And and as me going on last, I never tell a comic, "Hey, you can't say that. Don't say that," because I want to say it. Like, a lot of comics will do that. It's like I don't do that. I'm like, just go do your thing. I got to do my thing. You got to do your thing.
Like, even if they ask you for advice, you just say, "No, I'm not."
Oh, no, I will. I'll give them advice, absolutely. But as far as, because a lot of, like, bands will do that, too. They'll turn down the opening band sound so it doesn't sound as good. They'll only let them play a certain amount. They'll mess with them. I don't do that as a comic.
You got any good bits on the Panthers?
I'm a Dolphin fan. You guys just beat us out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's the joke.
I couldn't believe it. I'm 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, all right, this is all right, good. I go, because I don't see too much of the Panthers. I'm a big NFL fan, but I'm more of an AFC guy, so I don't even know too much about them. And I'm like, yeah, 17-0, this is great. And when you guys scored, make it 17-7, I'm like, all right, let them get a touchdown. No big deal. 2 hours later, they lose.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah.
For sure. Did you enjoy the TV stuff? Are you still doing any TV stuff these days?
No, I don't do any TV stuff. Yeah, I like doing it if there's opportunities. Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite comedian that you've worked with in the past? Because you've worked with a lot of different people.
Man, there's so many. Jim Norton me and him started doing comedy together. So we just recently did a tour. I like working with him. Adam Carolla, I do some shows with when I go out to California. And then I'm based out of New York City, so I'm working with guys all the time. They're going up and doing. Chris Rock's always there. Dave Chappelle is always popping in doing shows. Theo Vaughn was just in last week doing shows. So working with those guys, you don't get to see them that often. So it's fun.
And then when you were coming up and starting out, who were you inspired by? Like, who are some of your favorite comedians that you used to listen to?
Ray Romano was huge when I first started in New York City. Ray Romano, Louis C.K., Kevin James, those three guys were and Dave Attell, those guys are the big guys, and they all went off to, do great things and stuff. So I would just sit in the back of the room and watch those guys because they were veterans already and really good comics.
You still a metalhead?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Big metal? I've never figured it out. I just get like a headache every time I feel like I try to get involved.
I just saw Judas Priest last week, probably the 30th time. Yeah, I just like going to shows. When they come around and still listening to music and stuff. With heavy metal, if you like it as a kid, you might abandon it later in life, but you'll always come back to it. It just reminds you of your childhood. So I always tell kids, once you're a metalhead, you'll always be one.
Yeah.
Same T-shirt.
I was going to say, that's like me and Christian rock is what I came up on.
Yeah, right. You still listen to it. You still listen to the stuff. You remember where you first listened to the song,
Yeah.
I was a big Striper fan. We in the Striper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still like those guys. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there you go. Now we got something in common.
Can a joke go too far, Jim?
Sure. Sometimes, and too soon. Sometimes after a tragedy or something like that, too soon to do it. Absolutely. And yeah, it can go too far. But sometimes you don't even know. And then you realize afterwards, yeah, that probably did go too far. When you're working it out on stage, you think, this isn't going to be. Then you realize, yeah, I probably went over the limit on that. You just never know. But definitely a too soon joke could definitely, that happens a lot with a tragedy and stuff.
What's like the cutoff, like a year, or like is there like a time?
It depends. I don't know. It depends.
Depends on how big the tragedy is, maybe. But yeah, wonder if there's a statute of limitations sometimes.
Even when 9/11 happened in New York, obviously no one touched it for like a month. But then after a few months, they weren't making fun of the tragedy, but making jokes about certain things that happened, and it started being okay. But if you did it, a week after, forget it. I think even Bill Maher got fired because he made a joke like 2 weeks after the tragedy. So you just never know with that stuff.
You don't know, but looking forward to the show, Jim. We appreciate the time this morning. Cain Center for the Arts, cainarts.org. You can get tickets. They are available this Friday night. Going to be a great show. Jim, thanks for stopping by. Don Jameson joining Jim as well. Safe travel, sir. Don't forget Saeed's. Tell him we said hey.
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you.